Yeah, so I just ran in the house quick and grabbed this coffee table out of our living room. I didn't think the wife would mind. And then I ran into the wife at the doorway. She goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, this is for YouTube." Welcome to the den. The name's Troy, and today I'm going to show you how to build a butcher block top in under 15 minutes. Everything on the left, pretty much a middle over, is not suitable for the table, but we do have a little bit of A-grade in here, so we're going to pull that out. I already have a stack already pre-made. We're gonna need a few more and we're gonna go through that together. And the other board that we have here, same thing, half of it's split up really good, so we want to get rid of that. Plus we have a little bit of dry rot on here, but that's okay because we can do something with this. This here won't go to waste. We have a plan for that, and we're gonna go through that here in this video too. Yeah, we'll set this one aside for now, and we'll deal with this one, and we'll cut a few more up here. We work out of like 3 buildings, and the tools go everywhere, so anyways, yeah, we'll make this work for you one way or another. There we go, and we can lock her into place. To make this tabletop, that you virtually need a minimum tools. There's so many different ways to make these kinds of cuts. We have put a link in the description of anything used in this video if you want to go check it out. But most likely, you're gonna have some of these things kicking around the workshop. Sit back, watch this one time or so, see if this is a method you want to try. All right, thanks for watching. Let me get a little closer here for you. A little up close and personal. So yeah, you notice that I left the gray. It's gonna be on the outside of our table, and you'll see how this really turns out. You may have noticed some of my unpretties here. That's burning from the blade. So it's kind of a sign that, you know, maybe it's time to change the blade, Troy. We're gonna plane that top off anyway, so everything's gonna be just fine. Then we'll make a quick jig here that you guys can use. That'll definitely help and make things a lot nicer when you go ahead and clamp things up. Yeah, kind of like that, and now the real work begins. We have everything kind of laid out in the pattern that we want. We got rid of some of these boards that we don't want. That's actually going to be flipped that way. Okay, so we're relatively the same height here, which is nice. I like to keep at least, 2, 3, 4 inches or so on each side, which we can cut off later. And the reason for that is that if we're not quite 100% lined up, I don't know if you can see that very well, but there's a little bit of a gap here, and about 3 inches back, it goes back to tight. So that just gives us a chance just to play around with this table and get down what we want. A butcher block top, whether it be for a coffee table, sofa table, a desk, maybe your island top, it's a great little project. Get her done in a weekend, maybe a day or two in advance, and then hammer it out on the weekend. Beautiful project. 5, 6, 4. Jesus, I got these things all over the place. I'll square these all up here. Looking good. We're leaving that gray, and we're gonna take quite a bit of it off. So that's just entrenched into the wood grains. Beautiful. If you're interested in how we set these in, we'll have a link at the end of this video. Okay, let's just set that aside for a minute. We're going to make room for the step before gluing up. I mean, no, this is an extra step. You don't need to do this. I should really get that table back inside. No, I'm not going to. We got these leftover pieces. Remember the ones that were cracked? Yeah, how could you forget? You just watched it. So we're gonna drill a few holes in the wood that we had, right? That we cut off that was all cracked up. We're not gonna waste it. We're gonna use it forever, actually. So yeah, the bar clamps will sit in there. It'll just make your glue up a little bit nicer, and yeah, I guess you'll see in a minute. Just simple clamps. It's just an easier way to use them. Okay, the next step after we glue this up is going to be running it through the planer. And like most woodworkers, our planer is only, well, it's not a 24, that would be nice, we slip her through in one go. Ours is 15. Lots are 12, 13, somewhere in that. So we're going to do this in 2 parts, glue her up. If you want to go all out on this table, I queued up a playlist if you want to go into how to recess your metal table legs and also threaded inserts, benefit of using them and how to install them. Hit that subscribe button, I appreciate it. Okay, the next step, we're going to plane the top and the bottom side of this tabletop. I would invite you guys to come along, but it's so cold right now, probably my phone will just freeze, so it'll just be like frozen video all the way through, or actually no video. I wish you could come along. I'll take you another time. Really, it's not that impressive. Well, actually the Barnwood inside's impressive, but I mean, yeah, so it's just our cold storage and really cold, but that's where our planer is. So we're gonna go and trim this up. I'll be back, probably wearing the same clothes for the last like 3 days. Okay, talk to you a bit. Woo! Thanks for sticking around this far. You're gonna be rewarded. Right now, I'm gonna give you one reward as an option. For your reward for watching this far, you can take your table and you can turn it into a waterfall edge if you want. This is your option. I see, said the blind man to the deaf dog. And turn this into a waterfall. That's an option, but we're not gonna do it. We're just gonna keep it simple. Part of the table where it often gets neglected, and that is to glue it up perfectly flat, right? To glue that perfectly flat, right here in particular. That's when you look at the table and you're like, that's where the joint is, okay? So we don't wanna see that. And the first step is to be prepared. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make a few marks on here. We're gonna use a biscuit joiner. We're gonna put some number 10s in there. Only one row. Tick, 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 maybe 4. Space them out. And that's gonna lock in where your table comes together. And it's gonna help your glue up. Number 20 biscuits will be fine. We're using 10s, that's what we have. We have bigger, but I can't reach them. We cut off 2.5 inches on the one side, and we'll cut the balance off at a later stage, and I'll explain why then. There's just that wiggle room is reduced, and you got, It looks pretty well exact as it is right now. So let's glue her. All right, guys, we're just gonna kind of lay it down what we're doing as we're doing it. So the final touch is, this is really where your butcher block table is gonna come to life. So first we're gonna take it through the table saw and cut it down to length. We're gonna use the table saw sled just so it supports the whole length of the board itself, and we can get a nice, crisp, clean, square cut. Now, if you don't have one of these, you can use the fence and run it through that way, but Jesus, be careful. She's kind of a risky deal. So from there, we're gonna touch each side of this table with the blade. I mean, just touch it. This is where we're gonna trim up that grade, just scuff it. And it's gonna take away some of those pricklies that, you know, nobody wants. Barnwood sliver. Hey, have you got one yet? Yeah, nah. I'm sliver free this project so far. So yeah, so we'll get rid of that, and then we'll move over to the router table. You can just use just the router. We're gonna use the table because, well, I don't know, we got it. Once you do have it cut down to length and you don't want to run it through the router, you just want to run a little bit of sandpaper over the edge, hey, feel free, you're done. Basically, all that's left to do after we're doing these few little steps, we're not putting it on camera, but we're just gonna sand her. So I have 40 first grit, then I'm gonna go to 80 and 150. Lots of times you could just go, you know, straight 150 or 120 grit, or maybe you want to back it off and go 80 grit and 120. It's kind of up to you. Just kind of sand her to the smoothness that you wish. Apply any stain you want, if any, seal it, you're done. I think at a later date we'll probably get into more of sealing and what to use and how to do it and the whole preparation and process. But for now, have at her. You got yourself a beautiful butcher block tabletop.